but instead what happened in the end, they both die. So that is the freedom that they get in the movie, and that is the price that they have to pay for freedom.
And the first question, now we start, is going early, but in your career with your first song, that is Pyromaniac, man. So tell us
Yeah.
about that first word that led you that at the things that you're doing here. By the way, I saw some of your short films on YouTube and I really love it. I saw the one from Cannibal, the one from the Seed Soldier. But tell us about Pyromaniac.
Wow, nobody's ever asked me this question before about Pyromaniac. um, Pyromaniac is a very long time ago. It's my first film ever.
Bueno, también está la de, bueno, hay dos producciones que la verdad me parecieron increíbles, que es Samurai Diablo y The Subway. Son dos distintos mundos, distintos universos. ¿Qué destacas de no solo esa experiencia, sino el poder hacer que todo esto conjugue a que todo sea de grandes producciones?
And this is a great question from John because he is talking about Samurai Diablo and the Subway. But I think this question also, we can say it with the short films I saw, the one from the Slave, the one from the Soldier, the one from the Cannibal. How do you manage to do short films but with great values of production, man?
Because when you have no money, you have to learn to do everything yourself. So sometimes that is the location, sometimes that is the props, sometimes that is the sound, the music. You learn everything. So you look at other films and you take inspiration from other films, and then you put that into your movie and try to do the best. And the more you do that, the more you do that, the better you become. And then one day somebody gives you big money, and then you go and make everything properly.
También está una producción que se llama Survivor, ya es obviamente sobre los agentes del FBI, mezcla sobre un mundo totalmente distinto. ¿Qué opinas sobre la esencia que ha tenido todas estas cintas y qué destaca de esta producción que no se ven en las demás?
What are the elements of the movie Survivor that you think this movie got that the other movies about the subject don't get?
One is because it's a different genre altogether. So the elements will always be very different. No film is the same experience as the last one. So whatever you learn from the last movie, you take into the new one. But then in the new one is you learn something else. Then you take that experience into the next one. And so you're always learning and you're always evolving as a filmmaker. But the difference between the two movies is with Sikh Soldier one, the World War II movie, is we had all the war vehicles, the weapons, the locations. So it was a very different experience. Whereas the other movie, it was just 3 or 4 different people, and you shoot really quickly. But with the Soldier one, we shot everything I think in like 12 hours maybe, and yeah, it was like I say, it was a completely different experience. It's shooting a short film and shooting a feature film is a very different experience, especially if you come from a background of having no money. So no money means no crew, no post-production, no special effects, nothing. So you have to do everything yourself. But when you're working on a feature film, you have everybody there, from VFX supervisor, the sound guy, the camera guys, the lighting guys. It's a whole different experience. So when you do short films and you're used to holding the camera by yourself and shooting everything, then suddenly you have to stop and let everybody else do it. It's a very it's overwhelming experience, because it's like you have to then give up control to somebody else to do. But sometimes it's a good thing, because these people are all here to help you and to make you make a great movie. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about, is to make very good product for the audience to enjoy.
You overwhelm me because if you tell me that you do that short film in 12 hours, I cannot believe it. It seems like you shoot for days or more. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Okay,
Yeah,
John, dale.
my short films, and I shoot no more than one day, all of them. Yeah, no more than one day.
I will translate that part. John, es que es increíble, todos los cortos que ha hecho los ha hecho en un día.
Wow, increíble. Eso es de mirar.
Yeah.
Además, en el tema que tú mencionaste en el principio, Andrés, sobre Cannibal, bueno, le pregunto sobre a Ran sobre, bueno, hay un actor que se llama James Bryan, que es un gran actor que actualmente se está destacando en las producciones independientes, y como Ran la dirigió esta historia de Cannibal, te quería preguntar sobre qué tan importante es sobre las diferencias respecto a lo que es un ladrón de poca monta, un caníbal. ¿Será que para una próxima oportunidad va a haber una persona creyente y una persona no creyente, por ejemplo, un satánico que estén los dos en una isla? ¿Se le ha ocurrido alguna producción de esa manera? Continuando con esa esencia.
Okay, this is a crazy question from John. And he talks about the short film that I told you, the one from the cannibal. But there will be maybe not a sequel, but another history when two persons, like John is saying, like an unbeliever and a believer, or a satanic, or I don't know, a believer in God, that face each other in an island or in a situation like with the cannibal.
I never planned on doing a sequel to Cannibal. It was, like I said, it was just one day shoot again. Because with me, sometimes I have bad habit of sometimes calling the actor one day before and saying, "We're making film tomorrow," and they're like, "Okay," so we come and we shoot. But yeah, I mean, the idea for Cannibal was about putting good versus evil, but when we were making the film, it was evil versus evil because it's two bad men and they come face to face. But one is more evil than the other person, and the bridge that they see, that they stand on, it was the bridge to freedom. But the bridge always to freedom comes obstacles. Life is like life. Life is not easy. So they come to this bridge and it gives them freedom, but freedom also comes with a price. So I do the film, and at the when you see the film, um, you the one two of them have to pay the price for freedom, but the freedom they get is not the freedom they wanted. It's a different kind of freedom because in the movie, that I can spoil the movie now because it's a very old movie, but in the movie they both die. So they were expecting to leave and be free, but instead, what happened in the end, they both die. So that is the freedom that they get in the movie, and that is the price that they have to pay for freedom.
And it's crazy that you told me that you called the actors one day bad because James Bryan is now doing a great work in the indie cinema. Imagine calling
Yeah.
that actor that great. I will tell that to John. John, pues es increíble que menciones a James, ¿no? Porque él ahorita le está muy bien, pero es que dice Ranjeet que siempre llama a los actores faltando un día antes de grabar. Entonces imagínate tú llamar un día antes a James, que es un gran actorazo, ¿no? Un gran actor.
Eso es increíble. Además, no solo él ha dirigido a James, sino también ha dirigido uno de los actores que yo digo que a usted le gustan las películas, que se llama Shah Rukh Khan, que es sobre la película Don. Por favor, mire, yo visualicé esta película hace mucho tiempo y créame que no tenía idea que obviamente pues la dirigía respecto al tema de lo que son las escenas de combate. Le diste indicaciones a chat sobre eso, el poder elaborar el tema de las chicas. No, hombre, yo quisiera saber mm, cuál es el elemento factor en el que Don aún siga siendo recordado hoy día y que sea considerado una joya, porque es una joya del cine que la verdad nunca pasa de moda. Cualquier parte que la vean en televisión, en cualquier parte en DVD o en cualquier parte se reproduce totalmente.
Yes, you had to tell us how was the experience working in Dawn with Shah Rukh Khan. I know that you made like an additional crew, but you had to tell us, man, because he is, you know, that he's universal. He's not only from India. Even here in Latin America, we know him. So tell us.
Oh yes, so funny story. I didn't work on this movie. somebody actually, maybe with the same name, put my name there. I tried to remove many times. I have not worked on this movie.
Thank you for telling us because we always do that. I will translate. John, tú verás si lo alejas o no. Alguien le hizo la broma y lo puso en los créditos de esa película.
What?
Sí.
¿En serio?
Él nunca trabajó ahí. Tú verás si
I
lo
actually
dejas o lo quitas.
No,
I
no,
actually
no.
have two. I have two credits with which movies I didn't work on. One is Don, and one is Bodyguard. I didn't know work on these movies.
What? Bodyguard? No.
Yeah.
No, man.
So I like that. I like this because I don't know if you had saw the channel Loadwire. They tell something that is Wikipedia fan or fiction. This is like in IMDb fan or fiction. John,
Yeah.
tú verás si lo dejas. Por mí déjalo. Sería
No,
muy
yo
bacana.
lo dejo. En serio, no. No
We will let it,
dirigiste Bodyguard, no, man, no puede ser.
we will let this in
Dijera-
the interview. It's a great place to.
Thank you.
Thank you for telling us.
Pero esta vez sí, esta vez sí dirigiste Ruptura. Eso sí, no me lo niegues, porque yo vi fotos de eso y dirigir a Mar Strange. Yo digo que algún día tendremos que tener a Mar Strange invitado para que vengan al canal a hablar de Ruptura, porque Ruptura me voló la cabeza. Estuvo disponible en Tubi una vez. O como Tubi, coméntale Andrés sobre que Tubi ya no está disponible ahora en Latinoamérica, pero algún día la vamos a ver.
Okay, but this is a sad story because, and of course, this is a fact. No, you directed Rupture and you directed Mar Strange. Man, the question is, yes, tell us how was working with this amazing cast, but the sad history is that Tubi is not available now on Latin America, and it's sad because when I got Tubi, I didn't watch the movie, and now I'm like, oh, why? Just that the sad part, they say that Tubi will come back, so I invite people to watch Rapture. But tell us about working with this amazing cast in this amazing movie.
Yeah, with the Rupture. So Rupture, I had the script for 1.5 years. It went through so many different changes. Originally, Sunny Pang was supposed to be the lead actor, but what happened? We got the financing for the movie, but before we started production, the financing was no more. The investor he pulled, and so then I have to wait another 6 months. But then Sunny Pang became busy on another project, so I was like, I can't use Sunny Pang anymore. So then we were looking for different actors, and then somebody suggested to me work with Mark Strange, and I know Mark Strange from many years before. So so I called Mark Strange and we talk, and I said to him, I want to make sci-fi action movie, cyberpunk movie, and he said okay. And because he'd never been lead actor in movie before, so for him, he was excited to make this movie. So then we got everything together, we plan everything, and then 4 weeks later we start shooting this movie. And then before we had Mark Strange, I had all of my other friends from my other movies, James Bryan, who I worked with many times, a very good friend of mine, David Lamont, he's also another good friend, and so many other people. I bring them into this movie, and we shot for 2 weeks. But then post-production was very long, nearly 1 year post-production. And now the movie will be out very, very, very soon.
That's the poster of the movie, the one behind you, no?
Yeah. This one?
Yes,
This
that's
one?
the one
Dynamic Day.
with the final picture, with the final picture.
Yeah.
Let's see that poster. John, tenemos que tomar la foto final después con el póster de Rapture, ¿cierto?
Claro, y de hecho, vamos a hablar sobre ese póster.
Shall I bring?
Please.
Vamos a tomar la foto de una vez para que alcancemos. Ok. Yes. Bueno, hay algo que sí te quiero decir. Yo creo que queremos ser los primeros en hacer prensa de este filme. Por favor, ¿será posible que nosotros haremos prensa en este filme? Y también preguntarle, ¿cuál ha sido el reto más duro para poder hacer esta película?
Que obviamente es Steve Ray, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Ran, can you do us the favor of being the first media to do press at least in Latin America, for Did Me No Great, because Jhon is crazy, and of course I am crazy so for knowing about this picture. And yes, man, what was the biggest challenge that you had to do doing this production? By the way, tell us. Thank you for showing us the poster.
No problem, bro. So, Dig Me No Grave stars two of my very close friends. The lead actor, which is this one right here, Warren Hicks, and this one right here, or here, one of these two sides, James Bryan. Two incredible actors. Everybody should watch out for these people because they're amazing. And we also star Mark Strange. The movie was difficult to shoot because we shoot in the cold weather. It was wet, it was damp, always cold, no heating, and we shoot for 2 weeks outside in the woods, in the jungle. So it was very difficult experience. And the story also is a very different story. It is about Native American Indian with American who go head to head for personal reasons. And the story was written by a friend of mine, Gary Piazza, who lives in Washington State in USA. The story it is about man versus nature versus man. So is you fight man, but you also fight the elements around you. And it's a movie about survival. It's a movie about being smart. But it's a movie with heart. It's a movie that gives you story, and it's not like generic story. It's a very emotional story. And James and Warren, they deliver incredible performances. I worked with James and Warren for many, many years, but this film is by far first class movie. They have given the best performances, I think, with everything. They've been all my movies, but this movie, I think, is the best that they have been.
Decía que me quedé sin palabras.
Sí, hay que aplaudirlo. Bravo, gran. Este es tu espacio ya que quedan unos 5 minutos para que digas no solo tus redes sociales, un saludo a Latinoamérica y que invite pues a ver Die Me No Great.
Pero primero la foto y después que diga eso.
Ah, claro, sí.
Okay, Ran, we are going to take a picture. That you don't have to bring now the poster, so
Yeah.
we can check to the social media. And after the picture, you got like 5 minutes to invite people to be alert with Did Me No Ray, to tell your social media so people can follow you. But first the picture, man. Send a big hi. The camera is yours. Tell your social media so people can follow you and invite people to watch Did Me No Ray. Go ahead.
So we have 3 movies coming out. One, Exiled, The Chosen One, is getting a bigger release. That will be probably next year. So that is Sunny Pang, Oka Antara, Hannah Al Rashid, Nick Khan, James Bryan, so many other people. That movie's still coming out. Then we have Rupture with Mark Strange, James Bryan, David Lamont. This movie is coming out in the next couple of weeks, so everybody can watch this one. It'll be available on the many streaming platforms. I will let everybody know on social media. But it's very, very soon. This movie's coming out. Then Dig Me No Grave. This movie will be out next year because we are still in post-production, finishing off all the VFX. This movie is Warren Hicks, James Bryan, Mark Strange also. And this movie, I think maybe summer next year will be out. I'm not too sure who will buy this movie for the release, but we're still working on the deal. But this movie's still have a lot of VFX to finish. So yeah, I have these 3 movies coming out. Exile's coming out, Rupture's coming out, and Dig Me No Grave next summer is coming out. And then I start shooting another movie in January.
You can tell us something about that, or you had to keep a secret?
Yeah, no, I can tell you. It's a horror movie. It is similar to, I don't know if you've seen a movie called Hereditary.
Yes, of course.
And Ari Aster movie, and another movie, Serbian film. So it's mix of both these 2 movies.
Man,
Yeah.
I was working this year. I am working, in fact, in a horror movie festival. If the other year I am still working, we need to talk about this. Imagine premiere that movie here in Colombia and Venezuela. Imagine that.
Yes.
And man, your social media so people can follow you, how they can find you.
You can follow me. I use Instagram more. So you can follow me on Instagram at ranjeet.s.marwa. You also follow me on YouTube, put my name in, and I use Facebook sometimes, but more is on Instagram.
Respect, man. Respect.
Respect,
Thank you so
respect.
much.
Thank you,
No
man,
problem,
for your
brother.
time. See
Thank
you.
you so much for having me. Thank you
Oh,
so
man.
much.
Thank you
Good
so
night.
much. Bye
Good
bye.
weekend. Bye bye.
Bye.
Weekend.